As far as ads are concerned and spend is concerned, for our clients, we typically say anywhere from, like, if you know what you're doing and you have somebody looking over your shoulder, you should be able to tell if a funnel is going to be profitable within $500 to $1,000. We had a client that came to us and they'd spend $60,000 with another advertising agency on paid ads. And so they came to us and they're like, we don't want to ever do paid ads again. We want to do cold LinkedIn outbound. And I was like, well, the problem is that you've been doing it wrong for $60,000 with this other agency. And so if you'll trust us enough, I think that we can get this profitable within $1,000 to $2,000. And of course, it went back and forth, and they finally did it. And within $1,000, we had our first sale for that client, right? So, and I'm not trying to hype myself up here. I'm saying that it has to do with how well you actually know how to run ads on the advertising platform, because Facebook will take your money no matter what. So you could just blindly spend the money and say ads don't work, but almost always it's one element of the entire funnel doesn't work. So is it your click-through rate? Is it your lead opt-in rate? Is it your cost per book calls, your show-up rate, your close rate? And sometimes what people are saying are ads faults are actually a offer problem or a sales problem, right? Oh, well, you suck at sales, so every KPI is in line and you're getting, let's say, $150 booked calls for a $3,000 offer. Well, that should work, but if you're closing really poorly, you're gonna be like, oh, ads don't work. But it's like, okay, what if we just got the close rate to work, and then would it make this entire equation work out, right? So it's essentially a math equation, and one of the things I'd always recommend doing is creating either a Google Sheet or something like that to say what would need to be true for ads to work. So for example, you can just Google it, but the average click-through rate on a B2B offer is gonna be, the average cost per click on a B2B offer could be $5 to $10. So then your average opt-in rate is gonna be, let's say, 15 to 20%. And then your average opt-in to call rate is gonna be, let's say, 5 to 10%. And then your show-up rate is gonna be, let's say, 75%. Your close rate, let's say, is gonna be 15% on cold traffic. And your average cash per close is 1/3 of what your offer is. So if you run all that math together, does it equal a profitable return on ad spend for you on ads, right? So there's way more that goes into it versus like, let me just throw an ad up and see if it works. You got to do a lot of work beforehand before you even, there's a saying in the United States, which is measure twice, cut once. So before you even spend a penny, let's make sure that this thing projects out money-wise. Then if it does, then you can launch that ad. And then you're like, cool, for this all to work, I need less than an $8 cost per click. We run an ad, we put $100 a day, you're at a $15 cost per click, boom, we spend $100, we turn it off, and we have to go back to the drawing board to get the ad to work at that $8 cost per click before we can move on to the next stage.
If you want my help installing any of these systems in your business done for you, be sure to book a call with my team down below.